It's 8 p.m. and here are our top stories in 90 seconds.
I would never hurt people like that in a million. I would never do that to anybody.
Tonight, 2 suspects arrested at the Maven Hotel in Denver with a dozen guns share their side of the story. A Colorado church that recently helped 2 communities honor fallen officers is vandalized.
2 individuals that came from the west. I could see that one of them appeared to be throwing something at the front of the church, while it looked like the other was painting with graffiti.
A Colorado police officer faces a felony charge after tasing an elderly man in Idaho Springs.
Everyone has been in anguish, stressing, despaired, worried he's going to die for the past 6 weeks.
But attorneys for the man's family say the charges are not enough.
He was standing in his own home, unarmed, for 19 seconds, and then one of the officers tased him and tackled him.
And the Midsummer Classic festivities have kicked off at Coors Field, with a familiar face making his return to the Mile High City.
Kind of weird being in the locker room right now, and the store is my locker room right now, so that part's a little weird, but it's pretty cool. You know, it brings back good memories.
Good Monday evening, and thank you for watching Denver7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter. Tonight, one of the 4 suspects arrested at the Maven Hotel in downtown Denver is sharing his side of the story. More than a dozen guns were found with tons of ammunition on Friday night, just days before the MLB AllStar Game. Tonight, all 4 are sitting inside the county jail in Denver. One sat down with Denver7's Liz Gilardi. Gabriel Rodriguez says he was just there to sell drugs, not carry out a mass shooting like what has been suggested.
I would never hurt people like that in a million. I would never do that to anybody. I don't even know what's going on with these guys. I didn't know they were up to no good. I didn't know they were up to that. All I was there was to drop some drugs off, man. That's the honest truth, man, whether you believe that or not.
Court documents show one of the suspects requested a longer stay at the Maven Hotel and requested another room with a balcony. The documents said there was concern about a mass casualty event, stating, quote, "It should be noted this information was concerning to officers due to the location of the rifle, ballistic vest, duty belt, and requesting a room with a balcony, coupled with the fact that the All-Star Game was happening in the immediate area of the hotel." Liz sat down with another suspect arrested at the Maven Hotel, and we'll have that for you tonight on Denver7 News at 10. Well, this story grows more complex by the hour. You'll find everything we've learned so far on the denverchannel.com as well as on Denver7 Plus. And just a bit of a reassurance for tomorrow's All-Star Game. We sat down with the division chief for the Denver Police Department. He says his team is working diligently to keep you safe.
It is a very safe environment to come downtown. We monitor, we gauge what's going on in our community. We determine if there are any potential threats out there, and we work quickly to mitigate them or dispel them as soon as possible.
Denver police say if you are heading downtown for the festivities, remember to lock your car and secure any valuable items. The same attorney who sued Loveland Police on behalf of Karen Garner is now taking on the Idaho Springs Police Department. This case involved 75-year-old Michael Clark. The DA's office says an officer tased him because the 2 were in some kind of a fight. Attorney Sarah Shelke says that's misleading. She says police didn't announce themselves and that Clark did little more than grab a novelty sword to defend himself from people banging on his door.
The female officer had her gun on him. The male officer jumped in and kicked him, and they're yelling and yelling and yelling, put that sword down, and he does. When he was tased, it caused him to fall backwards, and he hit his head on a shelf on the way down. His head was cut open, had to be stitched shut.
Officer Nicholas Hanning has been charged with third-degree assault. The police department is still deciding whether he will keep his job. There is body camera footage. The DA's office says he's working with the court to decide when it'll be released. A church in Lafayette that has been a healing place in times of tragedy has been hit with thousands of dollars in damage. Flatirons Church recently held funeral services for 2 Colorado officers killed in the line of duty. Denver7's Addie Guajardo shows us the extent of the damage.
The Flatirons Community Church in Lafayette holds a special place for family and friends who bid farewell to Boulder police officer Eric Talley and Arvada police officer Gordon Beasley. 2 officers killed on the front line.
After 5 minutes with Gordon, you couldn't help but walk away feeling better.
2 officers mourned at Flatirons Community Church, where worshipers are now cleaning up a mess left behind by 2 culprits just before 4 a.m. on Sunday.
The criminals shattered the glass on 3 doors and tagged the building with anarchy symbols and things like "Be gay, do crime." They also use an acronym police say targets officers.
There is a acronym, all cops are bastards.
Sergeant Jeremy Molander believes it may be connected to other vandalism in the city.
One location, at least along 287, just south of Baseline, was recently tagged as well with that same acronym. Certainly we don't want that kind of graffiti anywhere in the city.
Surveillance cameras caught the criminals, but police are not ready to release it and say it's poor quality. What they did make out?
2 individuals that came from the west. I could see that one of them appeared to be throwing something at the front of the church, while it looked like the other was painting with graffiti.
The police report says at least 3 mason jars with rocks attached were recovered at the scene. They appeared to have liquid inside.
It's obviously illegal. They caused, right now it sounds like about $7,000 worth of damage, which is in the state of Colorado a felony.
Denver7 reached out to the Flatirons Community Church. A spokesperson said they don't believe they were intentionally targeted and asked for privacy. Sergeant Molander says the video gives little information about the 2 people involved, other than they may be juveniles. He's now asking anyone with information to contact the police department. Addie Guajardo, Denver7 on Local 3.
Addie, thank you. The body of Cassie Stratton has been identified weeks after her condo near Miami collapsed. Stratton was on the phone with her husband, Mike, when the building collapsed. She was a model and actress who split her time between Florida and Colorado. Her family is asking for privacy while they plan a memorial. House Democrats in Texas took an extreme measure today to block a vote they say will suppress voters in the state. This is a picture of the House Democrats on a plane to Washington, D.C. By fleeing the state, the House drops below the minimum number of lawmakers required for a vote. Democrats say this decision was made after Republicans failed to cooperate.
Making our witnesses stand in the middle of the night and perhaps overnight to hear their testimony, not taking their input into account, denying Democrats the opportunity to have meaningful input in changing this legislation. Do they want to have a pragmatic solution, or do they want to have a partisan, victory? And when they choose partisan politics, we choose to fight.
The bill would ban elections from sending out mail-in ballots and prohibits drive-through and 24-hour voting. Republicans say they introduced the bill after people lost confidence in elections. Colorado Secretary of State Jena Griswold took a victory lap today. As you might imagine, for someone in her position, Griswold is an outspoken advocate for Colorado's vote-by-mail system. Today, she said that system helped Denver land the AllStar Game.
This week will be such a magnificent showcase for Denver and our state. We love an opportunity to show off Colorado to the country. And that the fact that our election model helped bring this event here should make every Coloradan even more excited and more proud to cast a ballot in the next election.
Senate Republicans intend to air an attack ad tonight during the Home Run Derby and tomorrow during the All-Star Game. The ad blames the, quote, radical left woke crowd for the game being moved from Atlanta to Denver. But this week is about the game. The fans enjoying watching the best players in the league at Coors Field. Sports anchor Nick Rothschild joins us from the field with a preview of what to expect tomorrow night.
The All-Star experience is kind of like a mini summer camp for a lot of these players. It's a chance to reconnect with old friends that you only see once a year, maybe cause a little trouble too. I spoke with Nolan Arenado, who's back at Coors Field again, and he said that in addition to bunking with an old buddy, he's a little more relaxed the second time around.
I really didn't think it was going to hit me that hard, but obviously just being there and it was packed house, it was just great to see that again. It's kind of weird being in the locker room right now, and the story is my locker mate right now, so that part's a little weird, but it's pretty cool. It brings back good memories.
Trevor, Nolan said you and him are locker mates. How's that going so far?
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's it's like you never left. It's kind of brings back a lot of memories. He's one of my best friends, so it's always cool to be around him. It's special. That's all. That was a big attraction for me too. I wanted to be a part of this in Denver. Knew Noel was going to be here. I've become friends with a lot of these guys, so it's something that I wanted to partake in, and I didn't want to miss out on this happening in Denver.
From what I've seen just around downtown, what a marvelous job. The collaboration between the Rockies, MLB, the city of Denver, Colorado, and I mean, just wonderful.
Denver really is showing off this week. I also spoke to Aaron Judge, who had never been to Colorado until now, and while he was really looking forward to enjoying some of the stuff we have to offer, MLB's got him pretty busy for the next 2 days. So next time, I guess. Reporting from Coors Field, I'm Nick Rothschild, Denver7 Sports.
Like a big reunion out there. Thank you, Nick. Now we have a complete list of what you should know about the events happening in downtown Denver, the road closures, and all of the fun activities. Just head to the denverchannel.com.
Ultimately, what you want is a 24-hour center city. You want residents, you want visitors, you want activation at all times of day.
And that's exactly what the city of Denver hopes the AllStar Game will bring to what they refer to as up-down. We look at the potential business boom. Plus, western wildfires are creating poor air quality across Colorado.
Hazy and hot again today, but there is some relief in the forecast, a chance of rain coming up in the 7th day.
And coming up later, the pandemic has allowed for millions of Americans to think outside the box and rethink their careers.
If I didn't get laid off, I probably would still just be sitting on my hands, just, oh, it'd be so cool to own a coffee business someday.